Sure good to see you, it's been much too long. As we start talking, it's like we've never been gone. Laugh about old times, about where we've been. No better feeling than to be among friends, among friends. Things are so right among friends. Be so alive among friends. We are tonight among friends. It's good to be among friends.
In June of 1995, Mike McCoy and I celebrated 30 years of friendship with a concert we called Among Friends. That was the first verse and the chorus of the song that opened the show. The Between Friends album had long defined our singing as something between the two of us. This concert and the songs we introduced that night would celebrate the ever-growing circle of the music and our lives. Dear partner, a longtime friend from California, Bruce Goddard, had unexpectedly showed up with his daughter Caroline on Pat's and my wedding day. They were a welcome addition to our celebration. 2 months later, Bruce was back in town to introduce the Among Friends concert. Here's a bit of what he said.
I want to comment myself that 30 years is a long time, and it's been a wonderful trip. And the thing that I think I'm most impressed about all of this is how the circle of friends continues to grow, that it's an inclusive circle that brings people in, and it's bigger now than it was, and it ain't as big as it's going to be. And that to me is very, very impressive. So sit back, relax. It's okay to enjoy yourself because you are among friends. And would you please welcome to our stage Mark Pearson and Mike McCoy.
1995 had been a prolific time for me as a songwriter. Songs for Pat's and my wedding, songs for Lindsay's high school graduation, songs for Nashville, including some that hoped to showcase the Brothers Four as a still viable recording act. And then the songs we introduced Among Friends. And while the recording quality's not the best, including being a bit speeded up, the spirit's there, sometimes with a slightly out-of-tune guitar. The song, Luck and Love and Time, tells the story of how we built your house of logs, row by row, day by day. When the rafters fell, it was lucky no one got hurt. And in the end, that house was truly built with care and love. And the song went on to explain that success in any form or forum takes some luck, that good things take time, and without love, nothing is really worth that much. And yet, when we have those three, there is no limit to what we might do or discover.
I remember building that log cabin, stacked logs row by row. Every day they went a little bit higher, slowly watched that cabin grow. Then came the day the rafters fell, on for sure that we would die. Picked up the pieces one by one, just to keep the dream alive. Wondered if we'd ever reach the top, not sure how to keep going or if the rain would ever stop. Now the cabin stands a monument to trying, built with luck and love and time.
The song Let's Leave This Town Together was an invitation to my older brother. Until I was 5 years old, he was my best and sometimes only friend. For years after that, he was the standard by which I measured myself, often unsuccessfully. When we were in our 30s, although we didn't live that far from one another, he seemed to be keeping his distance. I remember after a holiday with extended family asking him if he could explain to me why he was withdrawing from me. And finally, referencing an imaginary town we created as kids involving what were known as dinky toys, he explained he was keeping his distance because I had left Dinky Town without him. In other words, he felt I had abandoned him. The song was written hoping we can let go of our childhood fears and, in this case, set the ghosts of our old ghost town free. the recording from that night was lost, so I'm singing the first verse and chorus now. Brother, here's the place we used to play. No signs of the times of the town we made. 4 years that imaginary town was home, a place that was safe and ours alone. For so long it was you and I, imaginations kept our town alive. There was no way that we could know that town was something we'd outgrow. Let's leave our town together safely in our memories. Let go of our childish fears. Set the ghosts of our old ghost town free. McCoy, you and I both came to the University of Washington on football scholarships. And in the fall of '94, you were back in Sumner, your hometown. And you and the team you were part of 30 years earlier was being honored. And in telling me about that reunion, you talked about a talented childhood friend who died too soon. And the way you described him inspired me to write the song, The Ballad of Dick Stanley.
In a small town growing up, Dick was what you might call the king. In our neighborhood when we were kids, he could do everything. He was the quarterback, and with the basketball, the things he could do. And whatever team he played on, you knew that Dick would come through. In the summer of his 13th year was when everything changed. We learned that Dick was dying, and life was never the same. And with disbelief and horror, we were made to realize that life's a precious, fleeting thing, and even kings must die. And no one knew just what to do when the news came Dick had died. This wasn't supposed to happen, so we all just met outside. We decided to play a football game, and even now, as I look back, can't explain the reasons that I was chosen quarterback. The first play, I just faded back, threw that ball into the air. The distance that ball traveled, we all just stopped and stared. In our 14-year-old logic, it was like we could believe that somehow part of Richard is now alive in me. So it was, we wore the crown, set records, played the games. And Dick remained part of every pass, part of every play. And I thought about those games and years and life out on that field, and how we're all connected in ways sometimes unrevealed. As I walked to the sidelines that evening, a friend's son ran up to me. And with a 6-year-old's confidence, he proclaimed, "I'll break your records, you'll see." And I told him that I hoped he did. His dad just grinned with pride. I didn't have the heart to tell him those records weren't just mine.
There was a song for your son, Riley, a story about what might have happened if you had truly spread your dad's ashes on Mount Rainier, and when Riley was born, you had returned to the mountain to share the good news with your dad.
I've come to this mountain meadow where these wildflowers grow, the place we spread your ashes, Dad,
7 years ago. I've come back to visit you on this rainy summer morn, to tell you I'm a father now, your grandson has been born. We're all part of the river of life, the branches on a tree. Just as I am part of you, he's part of you and me. Spirit remains so alive, though your earthly race is run. From a son to a father, from a father to a son.
And a song for your daughter Kisa, a bedtime song. A song about how being afraid of the dark is nothing to be afraid of when we can see a reassuring light. Perhaps even a light shining just for us, our special lucky star. When we sang the song that night, we had no idea how important it would soon be to see such a light shining through the darkness.
It's time for you to go to sleep. The day has turned to night. Whatever's left to do, we'll keep. So let's turn out the light. You say the darkness scares you some. The darkness scares me too. So we will turn the night light on to shine for me and you. Just like a star to guide us, to help us through the night, to wish upon, to dream and trust, to lead us to the light. Those times when you might chance to wake, it shines there in the dark, waiting for the dawn to break, your special lucky star.
We introduced a song that night called the Real McCoy that celebrated a life of love and truth. It turned out the song was not about who you had become, but about who you were on the road to becoming.
You know, he always could hide behind his pride and his cool. If not everybody's hero, he was nobody's fool. When you saw him, you were looking at a golden boy. No reason to think it's not the real McCoy. Things look different to the man inside, more frightened and lonely than we realized, and all that he loved might have been destroyed if he couldn't find the real McCoy. Find him he must, and find him he did. Now he's not just a middle-aged kid, but he's sharing who he is to the broad daylight after living through a long, dark night.
Then there was a song about singing together that night, celebrating 30 years worth, and how good it feels when the whole world is ours for a song.
When we were 18, didn't wonder what life means. We were carefree and careless and strong, with nothing to lose, young and bulletproof. The whole world was ours for a song. Didn't know where the road would take us, we'd go make life up as we went along. Sometimes we got lost, unaware of the cost, the world remained ours for a song. After taking our chances and paying our dues, singing our share of love songs, our share of the blues, when the music would stop was the time we both knew we had to find ways to keep singing. When songs we have sung, we are no longer young. Our innocent days are all gone. But given a choice, we will still raise our voice and make the world ours for a song.
A few months after the concert, I gave you a book for your birthday of what felt like the most significant original songs we'd sung through the years. I think I was thinking we'd reached a summit of sorts. A part of me believing our best days on stage might be behind us, that our friendship had somehow plumbed the depths of what I knew friendship to be. We had no idea the true heart of our journey together was simply waiting to be discovered.